welcome to my channel. So today I'll be talking about Cabinet of Curiosities, which is streaming out on Netflix. And to be honest, when I saw the trailer for this, I wasn't that interested because I'm not a fan of like gruesome and horror and blood and all of that. But because it was created by Guillermo del Toro, who's in my mind, it's a genius. I follow his work like from the beginning of his career. I love him so much. We have 4 nights of anthologies. It started on the 25th, 2 episodes, and then we have 26, 27, 28. Will be the last day. So each night you have 2 episodes. Like I said, the show was created by the one and only Guillermo del Toro, who in my mind, my humble book, he's a genius. And I always say that he belongs to the Tres Amigos Club, which I think is the 3 best Mexican directors around. It's Guillermo del Toro, Alfonso Cuarón, and Alejandro Iñárritu. Yeah, I think I'm pronouncing his name right. But I've been following their careers since the beginning. I remember there was a year, all 3 of them released like amazing movies, and like one after the other, and they broke the Hollywood mode. All 3 of them, they were winning Oscars like back to back to back to back. And I love them because they're so supportive of each other's works. I think like one of them directed a movie that the other one produced, or one produced and the other one directed. Guillermo del Toro, like even before Pan's Labyrinth, if you haven't seen Pan's Labyrinth, like get on it. It's Halloween time and we all crave something dark, mysterious, and a little creepy. And I think the show, it's perfect. And besides being created by Guillermo, he's also the host, which I love because he comes at the beginning of each episode and does this little monologue, kind of explaining. He basically opens, he has this beautiful cabinet of curiosities. I kind of want it. It's a beautiful sculpture. So he opens up and then he sets the tone for the episode, almost like like a Twilight Zone type of intro. The cool thing about the short stories is that each episode is directed by a different person. So we go on this different scary ride each time. In this video, I would only talk about the first 3 episodes. It's a busy week for me. I'm not sure if I'm gonna cover the other ones. I kind of want to cover at least the last 2. Like I said, I'm pretty busy. It's my birthday this week too, so I will hopefully cover the last 2. First one, it's called Lock 36, and our main character, his name is Nick, and is played by Tim Blake Nelson, who is phenomenal. What an actor. Just watching him on screen, I was just like, he's just, I mean, phenomenal. His character, it's so despising and unlikable and racist that what happens to him at the end, when you see what happens, you're like, whoa, karma is a bitch. Like, you think that he really deserved it. But Lock 36, it's not very scary. There's not any jump scares, at least like to me. It is literally very dark. So I recommend closing your curtains or shades because the hue and the shades of the show, it's very dark. So if there's any like, glimpse of light coming in on your TV, you're just like, huh? And I watched it in a big TV and I was still like, what do I see? So I closed everything down. And then fun fact, I was reading an interview with Guillermo del Toro and he said that Lock 36, it's based on a personal experience of his, that he had this storage unit and they sent him a notice to a wrong address, and then his storage unit was bought by someone else, and he said it was a nightmare trying to get all his stuff back. He said in his own words, the character is basically me pleading with the guy that bought my unit to give me back my personal things. One criticism about Lot 36, that was too short. I thought it was, the way it ended, I thought we could extend it maybe like 10, 15 minutes more. Episode 2, we have Graveyard Rats. And our main character is Mason. It's Masson. So I hope I'm pronouncing it right because I can't remember the episode. Mason. So he's a grave robber. And I wish he either had a family or kids or a wife for us to feel, some sort of sympathy for what he was doing, because he basically digs up graves. And this is played in, I want to say 1800s or something. So he digs up the graves and steals, golden teeth. He looks for, jewels and anything that has any, valuable, possessions. And then he sends it to a guy to pay off his debts. Then one night he has this corpse, which has a sword by King George and, gold necklaces. And it's like, a gold mine to him. But the rats, they're in the cave, end up getting the body and putting the body inside like this dirt tunnel. And then Mason goes in there trying to get the body back. My advice is that if you are some sort of claustrophobic person, or, if you're scared of tight spaces, this might not be for you. I thought the VFX were great. And then I realized I was reading an interview with I think one of the producers, or maybe it was Del Toro. There's a rat king that I thought was VFX, and he was saying that Guillermo loves practical effects way more than visual effects, and that they had this big puppet of a rat that it took hours and hours and hours to make it look the way it looks. The fangs of the rat, it's so well done. The cinematography, it was like close to perfection, especially on episode 2. And I was reading the cinematographer, his name is Guillermo Navarro. He actually won an Oscar for Pan's Labyrinth. So the cinematography here, it's like top notch. Oh, and the same with the acting. All the actors are like on their A game. It's so amazing to watch. And when the announcement of the series came out, I looked up the cast. Stacked cast. So I cannot wait to watch the rest of the episodes. My one disappointment with the first 2 episodes is that it was all too predictable, and there wasn't a big surprise ending. Then we get to episode 3 called Autopsy. My favorite so far. Basically, we have this accident that happens with some miners. I think it was about 9 of them that died. And then the sheriff finds some body in the woods. And once we get to the autopsies part of the show, because the sheriff recruits Carl, and he's the one that's gonna, examine the bodies, try to figure out what happens. It was the 30-minute mark. No, there's 30 minutes left, because I looked to the right side and it said there was 30 minutes left. That's when it starts. It's full of suspense. And I love that Carl, because he was recording himself, he had this tape recorder, he narrates, all as he's going through, cutting the bodies, opening everything up. And I thought it was so endearing that every time, and funny, every time he would open up a corpse, he would apologize to it. He's like, "My apologies, Mr. blah, 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 blah. I'm so sorry I have to do this." To one of the corpses, he says, "If it makes you feel any better, I'm right behind you," because he has stomach cancer. And this is not a spoiler or anything. This episode, it's a slow burn, but it pays off. And it pays off in such a good way. I had to stop my breakfast because I was eating, and then when he starts opening up the bodies, I was like, so my advice is watch it with an empty stomach. The attention to details, to the autopsies, and like just taking like someone's rib cage, like I've never seen something like that. Just watching that, it was like a work of art. And when I say it pays off big time, the 3rd act. Oh, the script, the dialogue between Carl and then the other main character was so interesting, and it had you like at the end of your seat, the edge of your seat. And I was watching, like doing this to my arms. I was just like this. Oh my gosh, what is about to happen? Speaking of Guillermo del Toro, If you enjoy his work, and also Mike Flanagan, there's a YouTube channel called Still Watching Netflix, and there's an interview very recent, two masters of their craft talk. It's almost like actors on actors. If you're a fan of, you know, both or of the genre, the horror genre, watch that conversation. It was really, really interesting. And Guillermo talks about his Bleak House. I want to tour that place. Google it. I think it's Bleak House. It's in Los Angeles, but he keeps all like this, the puppets, the mannequins, all his books and DVDs. And I was looking at photos. I was like, it's a labyrinth of artwork. Are you interested to see a cabinet of curiosities? Have you started yet? Or are you just waiting to binge all episodes at once? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, please make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and also hit the little bell notification button so you don't miss any future videos, and I'll see you next time.